Hey everybody, so today we have a tips and tricks video part 2. I think we've done one of these before. We have some new tricks and tips for you, or stuff we haven't really gone over a lot before. If you watch all of our videos, you've seen us do some of this stuff in various videos, but it's always nice to put them all together in sort of a highlight reel of cool little things that can help you out in your craft. So the first thing we're going to go over is hot stuffing leather on your own. Now this is kind of an at-home method or workshop method of hot stuffing leather, kind of like a tannery would. Now, what hot stuffing is it's using heat to stuff a hide full of waxes. To give you an example, this leather, which is the bag we made last week, and this leather are the same leather. But this one is as it comes from the tannery, and I've hot stuffed this one, and then I've also burnished it to get it even darker. So, I'm going to show you how to do that process now. So step one, I use Phoebe's Aussie conditioner. You want to get a leather conditioner that has waxes in it and that does not have any real synthetics, or as few synthetics as possible. What we're going to do is we're going to liberally apply this to the surface. Now I decided to use this leather because it's milled. This is easier on a smooth leather, obviously. So by showing you that you can do it on a milled leather, you know that it's going to be a walk in the park if you're doing it on a smooth leather. This is really nice on veg tan. Just plain veg tan. It's really good on if you get a bridle that's a little bit dry, or any hide that's maybe a little older or a little dry. This is a quick way to get some hydration really deep into the hide. So we're going to apply this very liberally first so that we have a coating on top. And now normally when I just oil leather or condition leather, I would let this sit for 5 minutes and then I'd wipe it off. But with hot stuffing, what we're going to do is we're just going to grab our heat gun, and I just have a cheap little $30 hardware store special. I'm going to put it on the lowest setting, and then we're just going to keep it about a foot away because these things get really, really hot even on the lowest setting. And this is all we're going to do, and we're going to wait until we see that wax sort of liquefy, the paste, and it'll start to sink into our leather. Once we have that done, I'm going to give it a quick rub down with just a paper towel. It'll feel very waxy to the touch. That's part of the whole hot stuffed leather thing. Just to get any excess off that didn't come off. Then we're going to burnish it. And now this is an optional step. So what we've done here is this is now more deeply impregnated with waxes. So it looks darker. This is the piece we cut it off of. You can see how dark it is now. And this leather will actually get lighter as you're using it because the wax that we just impregnated this leather with will weep out onto the surface as the surface waxes evaporate. So say you have a bag that you're not touching all the time and it can dry out. This you're storing wax in the hide so that as the top layer of wax evaporates, it will pull the wax from the center of the hide that we just stuffed into it out, and this will stay hydrated for longer. Now you can do this on an existing leather piece. It doesn't have to be just leather. You can do it on a bag. You can do it on whatever you want. It's almost like waxing canvas, I guess you could say. So I have Phoebe's gum trag here, and I'm going to rub that into the leather that we just hot stuffed. And we're not going to wait for this to dry. We want it to be kind of damp on the top. Because when you hot stuff leather, a lot of the times you'll notice it loses its sheen. Now this will darken the leather even further, and this darkness will stay because what we're doing is we're basically burnishing like you would burnish an edge. We're doing the top. But it also kind of seals everything off, so it looks nice. Then I'm just taking a linen cloth, and I'm just going to work the leather like this. So after seeing the process, here is our original leather, which is what this bag is made out of. Put that in here. This is literally where I cut it, and you can see the dark, and that's what I did to this bag. So hot stuffing, burnishing, little trick, little tip, a great way to change the color of a hide you already have if you want it a little bit darker, a great way to pre-treat stuff that's going to go through a lot of kind of harsh conditions. This is a great way to make things a little more water resistant. It's a great way if you're selling to customers to make a product that's not going to have to be conditioned for a year or two. So let's talk about some edge finishing techniques, some tips and tricks. Now, a lot of you that watch along, this is not going to be anything new to you, but this is one of my new obsessions, is dye in a paint marker. Now this is a 12-ounce thick piece of edge tan that I have beveled and sanded down to 400 grit. This is a paint marker, and I have filled it with a mix of, I use a mix of Fiebing's Pro Dye in light brown and dark brown, 50-50 each. I find that that is a nice medium brown tone. They do sell a medium brown dye, but I like a mix of both of these better because it shows a little more variation. The nice thing about the paint marker is it's got kind of a hard edge. So even though I've beveled this and it's rounded, I can go and get a nice crisp edge when I dye this. Now the thing I like about this little mix here, I'm not trying to, sell you on any, you can make whatever mix you like, is that one coat gives you kind of like a nice see-through brown, right? So this will dry and you'll be able to see some of the grain through. You can go back and do 2 or 3 coats and get a nice almost black, but it's not fully black. It's kind of like how the old masters would never use a true black. They would use a very, very dark blue, a very, very dark purple. They would mix something into their black to make it more visually interesting. That's kind of what this does. You can go heavier on the dark brown in the mixture if you want it darker, because dark brown on its own basically turns black as it is. But when I'm feeling like I want it a little darker, I'll do 2-3 coats every, just wait a minute and do another coat. And that's it. So let's leave it here, and we'll go into how we're going to finish this edge, because all we're going to use is a little bit of gum trag and our cloth again. So it's been about a minute. I've just let the dye dry a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit of our gum trag here on my finger. I'm going to apply it to the edge. And then with gum trag, you want to let it dry a little bit so it sticks, so it gets a little sticky. Then you can use a burnisher or you could use a tool handle. I'm just going to go and kind of slick it down. I have sanded to 400, so this is kind of moot, but it does help a little bit, because when you dye the edge, it's going to raise those grains just like it does when you're dyeing a piece of wood. So once I slick those down again, I'm just going to go in with the same cloth that I used for the burnishing the leather, or burnishing the top of the leather, and that's it. There you go. You can see it starting to shine up. You'll feel it just stops getting slipperier and slipperier. So you have a nice, naturally burnished edge. If you want to get real fancy with it, you add a little beeswax. You grab your heat gun. Warm that up just a tad. Then you get your cloth again. And now we have a nice dull, it's sort of a matte burnish. And over time, it will burnish to a nice shine as it's used. So you have a finish that only gets better with use. But that is nice and sealed now. I don't know if with the light you can get it, but it's like an eggshell finish. Nice and matte. But what happens if you want it to be a glossy finish? Now this is, you could still see them, it's still drying because it's raining in the shop today, but I have one that's already done in clear. We have the mirror edge trend going around now. There's nothing wrong with it. But I've noticed that a lot of people will burnish, they'll sand up to like 4,000 grit and then they'll burnish to a shine. And the problem with that is after a week or two of use, that goes away, things get dented up. How do you make a mirror polished edge that will stay mirror polished? Let's get into that next. So we know how to do a nice crisp dark edge on veg tan or on anything now, but you can see, we can keep a crisp edge easily with our paint marker. We can do a nice burnished edge, natural burnish with no paints or anything like that. But how do you get a super mirrory edge without spending 2 hours burnishing? Now there's nothing wrong, first of all, there's nothing wrong with burnishing for 2 hours to get a mirror edge. The issue that I have is it doesn't stay. Well, you can just use a gloss edge paint, which is usually used as a top coat, just on your edges. So you can do this on shell cordovan, you can do this on regular veg tan, and you can get that mirror edge that will actually stay very easily. So this is just an edge that it's been beveled and sanded to about 220. I'm going to take some 400 and just give it one final little sand. Now watch how easy this is. So this is clear, glossy, clear edge top coat. Any brand will do. In my experience, they're all pretty nice. I like Giardini that Buckle Guy sells. They're our sponsor, so you'll be able to get that in the description, first link if you'd like it. But we're just going to take our awl, and we're going to put a little bit on. And right away it'll start to gloss it up. Now, the one thing about the glossy top coat is that it takes a bit longer to dry than the regular paint. Now I'm assuming that's because there's less hardener in it to make it so clear, but I do not know. I know that's what it's like with normal other types of paints. But it is, like I have it on my watch bands, I've done this on a lot of stuff, and if you hit it with heat after and set the paint, it does not chip off or anything, flake, anything like that. Similar to a properly applied opaque edge color. So you can see there with one coat, it's still wet, but our other side, that's a single coat with no sanding, no nothing. So what I'm going to do with this second side, very carefully, actually, is one of our other tips. Now if you've watched our edge painting video, this is not a new tip to you, but if you haven't, this is a good little reminder. I have 91% isopropyl alcohol. I have a clean paper towel because this is a clear paint. We don't want to get any other color in it. I'm gonna soak that pretty good. You don't want just a little spritz. Now this is the dried side. And instead of sanding, you can sand too, but instead of sanding, all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my rubbing alcohol and I'm gonna smooth it out like that. And that brings your sheen back pretty immediately, and it also kind of melts the paint and smooths it out. Now, on our other side, a lot of people have problem, and I've talked a lot about this too. I've had problems with edge paint coming off and stuff. Heat is your main response to that. So again, I just use the heat gun on low. Some people use their edge creasers with the paddle attachment. Some people will actually put stuff in an oven at like 170 degrees, I've heard. But if you hit it with the heat gun when it's about to dry, that heat will set the paint on the edge. And I now have watch straps that I've made that are proudly a year old with edge paint that haven't chipped or anything like that. So you can see there's your answer to doing a nice glossy mirror finished edge that will not wear away after about a week of use, which is unfortunately what will happen with when you do it with just burnishing. Now, one last thing on this is if you want to combine your paint pen with your clear edge paint. I've already got a couple coats on this to see how glossy we could get it. I'm going to sand down this final coat here with my 400 grit. And now, of course, this won't be dry by the time the video's ending, but you'll get to see just what you can do with a dyed edge and a top clear coat of gloss. They also make this in matte, too.
They make the paint in matte?
Yeah, they make a matte clear and a gloss clear.
Interesting.
And you could mix the two, probably, to get like
Eggshell?
an eggshell or whatever sheen you would like. Which would be cool if you were using like PVD'd hardware or something like that. Mm. Now sometimes you'll notice it's a little milky when it goes on. It was just raining out. That's just the humidity. Once it's fully dry, that milkiness goes completely away and it dries perfectly clear. So this is the last one. I didn't know this for 15 years, so you guys might know this already. If you get dye on your hand, if you try to wash that off with soap, it's just going to take forever. Rubbing alcohol. Had no idea. And this works with oil-based dyes too. Rubbing alcohol takes it right off. That's it. I used to have dye on my hands for days after I dyed with stuff. And granted, with the markers, they're not as messy. But that's all you have to do. So you can put dye on your hand. I'll let that dry a little bit. So while we're waiting for the alcohol-based dye to dry on my hand, which you're like, Eric, obviously alcohol takes alcohol-based dyes off. Oil-based, Feeman's oil-based dyes. We're going to add a little swatch of that. Really go heavy on it. We'll let that dry too. Alright, so we have our regular alcohol-based, and that's our oil-based dye all dried. Rubbing alcohol. There we go. So, this is probably a dumb tip, but I had no idea, and I just walked around with dye on my hands. Or, if you're like me, I don't like working in rubber gloves. It makes my hands sweaty. So, now you can work, and you can clean off those nails and go have dinner with Grandma, and, look presentable. Rubbing alcohol, that's it. So, I guess the main thesis of this entire video is get a heat gun and rubbing alcohol, and then you can kind of do everything with it. That's pretty much it. But that's going to be it. So, hot stuffing, a little edge work, a little cleanup work. You know, I don't want to give you guys, like, I don't want to do videos with, like, 15 or 16 tricks that are minimal. I want to give you, like, 2 or 3 really thought-out tricks and tips. That's why we've only ever done one other of these videos. But we have a nice list now, and maybe every few months we'll throw one in. If you want to know anything specific, let us know in the comments. If you've seen anything that other people are doing, or if you want to know how we do something in particular, and we'll add it to the list for the next tricks and tips video. So until then, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.